What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are working on my 1966 Ford F250 and we have some spring cleaning to do in order to get this truck ready to be on the road this summer. So let's get to work. In a previous video, you guys watched me tear apart my gauge cluster and my dash bezel in order to lubricate my speedometer cable that kept spiking and sticking on me while I was driving. And I figured while I have the dash torn apart, while I have the gauge cluster torn apart, it's probably a good idea to clean out the truck. Now, ever since I bought this, I have not cleaned it out. Now, I vacuumed the floor pans, excuse me, and I did give it a rough sanding when I did do my rhino lining or my raptor lining. That's what it was called. So I did clean it a little bit, but nothing up in the dash. Now, you guys have also seen me in a previous video tear my dash pad off, and that was the first time I have removed anything on the dash itself, and I just need to clean out the truck. It's coming into summertime. I'm going to be driving this for work more. I'm going to be driving this with my kids more, and so it just needs to not be grimy. I know it's an old truck, but just because it's an old truck doesn't mean it has to be dirty and filthy and grimy. So starting off, what we're going to do today is I'm going to get in here with the vacuum, and I know it's really hard to see, but there's like dirt, dust, probably leaves, probably bugs, spiders, whatever you want to call it, where the dash meets the glass. So I need to come in here, I need to vacuum it all out, I need to vacuum all the little crevices around all of my knobs, around my steering column, wipe off all the dust, wipe off all the dirt. I do want to try to get into the dash on the inside a little bit, clean out my jockey box. I do have a cigarette or like an ashtray that I think still has old cigarette butts in it from the previous owner. I'm not a smoker, so I know it's not for me. And just kind of tidy everything up. So that is on the agenda today. So I'm going to take the gauge cluster bezel. I'm going to take any and all trim that I can remove, and we are going to go over to my workbench, which is just a stationary table right now until I get my toolbox moved in, and we are going to deep clean all of these things. I think I actually might remove these additional gauges. It doesn't look too hard on the back side, just two nuts, and get those removed so that way I can really clean everything nice and just trying to polish a turd is what I'm trying to do, so that way next time I get into it, I don't feel completely disgusting when I fire it up and drive it down the road. Alrighty, first thing up is I do want to remove these extra gauges just because, why not? It'll help me clean the bezel more effectively and more efficiently. Just because when I flip it over, I will show you guys that around the bezel itself, it'll be kind of hard to clean, and there's no sense in having this already torn apart and just not cleaning it to the best of my ability. So might as well go all out. So just like I figured, you guys can see how that's already moving around. So it's just the two nuts on the back side. And that should remove the housing, just like that. Got two more right here. So after this, everything should slide through the face of it and expose the front side. These bolts that go through the entire thing have to be so long because they have to accommodate for this cup. But then also, they attach these two nuts, those two nuts, and then also inside the truck where the wiring comes in. That's also how it's wired up. Come on now. Try not to ruin anything. I'm sure I could just get basic washers for that, but try not to screw anything up. Cool. There we go. So, this is what I was referring to. Hopefully it's on camera. This bezel should come off of the face of it. That way I can get it. Oh, yep. Just like that. It's very thin tin, so don't crank on it with all your might. Just kind of work your way around it. So you have one piece, then you have the instrument bezel right there. So I'm not going to touch this at all because I don't want to affect the needle or anything like that. But the whole purpose of this was to be able to clean all around this bezel on the back side, get that guy nice and clean. So that way this is all just kind of polished up. I don't know if I'll be able to get that surface rust off. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'll try to. Same exact thing. You got your 2 bolts on the back, or 2 nuts on the back side. Now I probably should be using a socket for these, but all of them have already been relatively loose, so I haven't really felt the need to, except for now. These guys are all hard to get off. So, see how that guy looks? Put it in my hand so you can see it. Versus what this guy looks like. It's completely day and night. So this front side looks similar, but it's that back side. It looks like there's a little rubber seal on it that they kind of fuse together. I don't know, it's weird. Because now if you can look at this guy, it's almost indented or embossed into it. See how there's a little bit of a dent there? It's almost like they over tightened it and now it's stuck in that cavity. Okay, that looks more like what I've taken off in the past. So if you look at these now, see there's 2 separate pieces, almost not a rubber grommet, but kind of like a seal. And I would assume that this was fresh rubber when it was first installed, but now it's hard and brittle just because, like I said, it's a 6-year-old truck. So I'll be able to toss those can, or the, not the can, but the cup, little discolored. And see that guy right there? See how it just chipped off? It's weird. So we'll pop off this trim around the bezel right now, or bezel, whatever you want to call it. Get it all cleaned up. So, like I said, we'll scuff that up. I'll see if I have any kind of non-abrasive sanding pads. We'll get that guy all cleaned up. What I'm gonna do actually for this one over here is I'm actually going to add that paper washer and the 2 nuts on there, so that way these don't move and damage the needle on the front side. Now this guy's completely naked, completely nude, so now I can actually get a deep cleaning on this gauge cluster. The downfall of this is we do have some paint coming off of this, right here as well as right here, but if I was doing like a full restore on this truck, I would, obviously sandblast this or media blast this, remove the glass, get a new piece of glass, make sure everything is nice and kosher, but there's really no need. It's a work truck, it's a weekend warrior truck, and yeah, it is what it is. So what I'm going to use for cleaning it is just a basic cleaner. There's a lot of grease, there's a lot of grime, so it's using Super Clean. We're gonna give this guy a good shake, spray it up in there, and see if we can't get rid of some of this crap. Oops. Now I will warn you, I do believe that this this cleaner, it does suggest wearing a mask, I think, and gloves. So probably should have gloves on, but oh my gosh, look at that. Can you guys see that on camera? I'm gonna get it closer. So all I did was spray it. You guys haven't seen me touch it at all. Can you see that grime already dripping off that? Look at all that. So I haven't wiped it. You guys saw me just spray it, and it's already peeling away the dirt and the grime off of this guy. So I'm gonna see what happens if I let it just set for a couple minutes. I'll wipe it off really quickly, and I will do a second round of this stuff. Ooh-wee. That's wild. All right, you guys, it's been a couple minutes or so, and I just wiped down the initial wipe off of this guy, which is obviously the speedometer bezel trim, and it works really well. It's not completely wiped off just because the paper towel kept getting caught on all these little slits and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is, now that this is relatively clean. Also, this doesn't look fully clean on camera or anything like that. There was some adhesive on the glass right here, and this degreaser is working so well that it actually started taking that off of the glass. Like you can see, I'm using my finger and scraping it. So the black, which is right there, was on the paper towel when I was wiping everything off. So, I mean, look at all this. Look at all this dirt and grime and grease all on the paper towel. So very happy with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to flip it around. I'll spray the backside, get the backside nice and clean, and then we'll flip it around and spray the front for a second time. So what's nice is you don't have to douse it. Like some degreasers you have to let set for a certain amount of time, or you just have to excuse me, or you have to layer on the degreaser, just layer after layer after layer. This stuff, for the most part, I'm doing a very light, paper towels are going everywhere. I'm doing a very light spray on that. And you can already see it working. See all that discoloration around that bezel, also around the bottom? That's essentially the dirt and the grime and the grease pulling away from the bezel and mixing with the white foam solution of the degreaser. So very happy with that. So while that's setting up, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the second layer, or second coat per se, on the front side. Get those guys all cleaned. We're going to hit these bezels. We're going to get that guy one more time. I think what I'm going to do now is I'll let these soak, even though I know they're not submerged in the super clean solution, but I think I'm going to let it soak for a couple minutes, and then I might go get the hose and hose them off. I think it would be a better cleaner than the paper towel, just because the paper towel is going to get caught on all these little grooves, any imperfections, all these screw holes. The paper towel is going to get caught on and just kind of just rip the paper towel apart. So I might take these outside, go to the hose bib, go to the spigot, and just rinse them out that way. All right, going around my gauge right now. Now there is some pitting on the chrome bezel, whatever you want to call it, but it's nothing terrible. Now look at all that. Look at all that was on my tiny little bezel. So as you guys can see, there is some pitting. I won't ever be able to get that off with just a degreaser, I don't think. The best way to do that is just with a small abrasive pad, or non-abrasive pad, excuse me, some very, very lightweight sanding disc or sanding pad, and that should come off relatively nicely. But for right now, that's pretty much all I can do with a degreaser. I mean, degreasers aren't meant to take off and remove pitted rust on chrome, so I can't get too upset about that, but that's cleaning that up very nice. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Look at all that. Just from pretty much a single wipe all the way around. Taking off all that garbage. What I like is it's not leaving a huge smear like that. I'm pointing it into the light so it looks very bad, but a lot of these cleaners, they leave really bad smears on glass or plastic, and then you have to come back with a glass cleaner and clean it up that way. This one, for the most part, is coming off really smooth, really nice, so I'm just happy it's cleaning up the way I was hoping it would clean up. And there might be some fuzzies from the paper towel. And at the end, we can use a glass cleaner. I have one behind all this stuff just to kind of tidy it up. All right, I'm going to go get some water, wipe everything down that way, and I will give you guys an update shortly on just what they look like after I remove all the paper towel, soak all these with some water, and we'll see what we got. Just went outside to the old hose bib and rinsed everything off. Very, very happy with how clean they are so far. Obviously the water and the water at the spigot is not going to get everything off, so while these are still wet, I am going to do one final wipe. Like you can see all of the water kind of move as I pick it up. So I'm going to do just a quick little wipe and get rid of any extra dirt that I see. Now that this guy is done, I will go to the smaller ones and just wipe these guys down as well. Like I said, if I was going for like a full restore, I would obviously just replace all of these. But A, that's not in the budget, and B, this is a work truck. So it's getting the next best thing, which is just a deep clean. But I don't think replacing these or even painting them would be that crazy, that expensive either. So one thing I am very happy about is the inside of these guys turned out really nice, which isn't the biggest deal just because you don't see it from the gauges, but just to have the housings nice and clean to go install something in is always nice. So, and you can see the difference with these the rubber. See how these two are stuck in that one? This one, or these two came out. I believe they're supposed to be like this. They're almost pressed between the metal from the front and the back. So, like I said, just wear and tear over the years, and that's what you get, unfortunately. And I will mention that Super Clean, it does have disclaimers on it, obviously. It's like with, I'm sure, other degreasers. If you look at the bottle and the containers, it does say to A, wear gloves, you know, don't inhale, and then lastly, it can remove paint, it can remove finishes, so to clean a small surface first as like a test sample first. The reason why I wasn't too concerned about this stuff is, well, I mean, paint's already coming off of this, it's an old truck, it's a work truck, so that's kind of why I just went for it. But if you guys are, or if you guys were to get some Super Clean, they're on Amazon, they're at Walmart, they're on Walmart's website, they're on a lot of those big box stores. But if you're doing it yourself and you're using it on something that has a nice finish, a nice paint, a nice seal coat, and you don't want that finish ruined, I would definitely suggest starting in a small area first. But I'll be using this stuff on like the engine bay. We have a lot of nuts, bolts, and fasteners on the F750 crew cab, so I do want to test the degreasers on those just because, as you guys know, when they rust out, and they're a huge pain in the butt to get on and off, so I will see how well that stuff works on those for the F750 crew cab project as well. So now that I have this done, I'm going to start reassembling it again. Same exact way they all went on. So there is a little bit of a groove cut out. You can see it, this guy right here. I don't know if you can tell. Right there, it's a little bit of a notch out. And in this piece of material, there's also a notch out. See this guy right here? It's a little tiny half circle, and that's where they go. So, see that right there? You gotta line that guy up. Make sure that the light bulb, I don't know why I said it so weird, will go to the right spot. Now we can come back with the nuts, go on top of them. But before we do that, I better put them through the hole first. Whoops. Look how much cleaner that looks. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell from before, but that's like day and night here in person. It's crazy. Part of me just wants to get new washers for this as well, but I don't have anything here that'll fit them. Well, those might. Yeah, I'll hold off on it. I might just order new ones of all these guys eventually. Just gonna hand tighten those guys for right now. Move on to this guy. Same exact thing. You got the little notch right there. You got the little notch right there. That way you know exactly where your gauge is going. And then on the front side, you have the notch right there. So that way it's essentially a centering aspect. So that way this can't move on you. So that way when you reinstall, your oil gauge isn't to the side or whatever. So it's kind of like a centering tool. So I'll show you guys the difference right now between having the rubber and not having the plastic / rubber. This guy kind of does, but this one doesn't. So if you guys can see the difference between the two. So those are just hand tightened for right now. Glass cleaner. It is. Glass cleaner will also clean up the chrome as well. But for the most part, that degreaser did an awesome job for it. But this is just to prevent smears. I probably could have gone away with not using the glass cleaner, but like I said, the degreaser is not meant to clean glass. So I'd rather use it for what it's meant to be used for and not have smudges than kind of say, you know, I'm okay with it, and then have smudges and have to tear apart this entire thing again. So that's where I'm at. I'll flip her around to the back side of the glass. All right, well now we can go inside the truck, chop back and vacuum out the dash, all of the jockey box, the I don't know, change drawer, the cigarette butt, ashtray, whatever you want to call it. It's been a long time coming. There's a lot of disgustingness in here, so it's probably time that I do clean this place out. I'm just gonna vacuum it up. I'll grab some super clean, spray it down, wipe it up. There's just cobwebs, there's dirt, there's grime, there's leaves, there's bugs. One thing that I thought about the other day, which might be kind of stupid, but I don't drive this thing during the winter, and I certainly don't use the defroster / heater in the winter, and I don't use it during the summer. So part of me wants to get rid of all the ductwork, so these two vents right here, and it so happens to be a perfect fit for a Red Bull can. So I was thinking about either finding some, or Kyle and I can make some, just small circular, not too deep, so pretty shallow, like cup holders, and putting them here and here, and using them for my Red Bulls and energy drinks. So that might be something we do as just kind of like a fun thing, just because I don't drive this truck during the winter and I don't really need these here, so might as well utilize them. Or I do plan on going and getting a radio and some speakers, so maybe I'll put a speaker pods in each of these. So who knows, but it's kind of nice to have a cup holder in this truck, because when you're driving it and shifting it, and no power steering, so you're cranking on the steering wheel, you can't have a drink in your hand. You can't have it. You have to be very hands-free, as dumb as that sounds, but it'd be kind of fun and kind of cool just to have cup holders up there. So, yeah, let's get to vacuuming. You could probably use any multi-purpose cleaner for this, or not necessarily a disinfectant, but glass cleaner, whatever. I'm going to use Super Clean again just because I really like the way it worked on my dash bezel and my gauge cluster. And also, because it is a degreaser, I'm hoping that it's abrasive enough and will eat away at some of this glue and this foam from the dash pad. So I'm going to give her a go again. Just see what it can do outside of grease and grime and crap like that. Well, it's not really doing much for the glue, but I also didn't think it would either. I need to get like a rubber eraser that I can put on the end of a disc or end of a flapper wheel. Part of me wishes just to like take a weekend this year and just tear apart the entire truck with the sole purpose just to clean everything. Go all out, wiring harness, all these knobs, like completely gut this thing. But then I start thinking like, God, that is so much work just to clean. Like, do I really want to do that? And the answer is yes and no. The reason I want to is just to do it, right? But then Kyle and I are also trying to finish the F750 crew cab, so it's like that's a day I could spend or a weekend I could spend working on that truck and not screwing around with a fun project or just a project that doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, this truck means a decent amount, but I want to drive my F750 crew cab already. Kyle and I have been working on that thing for years, and it's like, okay, well, it's time to just drive the damn thing. Heck of a lot better than what it was, that's for sure. Okay. Alright, let's go get that dash bezel. Alrighty, we are back in the truck. I just need to start laying these guys out. Get some of my fasteners ready. So essentially I just ran my screws through the gauge bezel first and then that little tin piece. So I think I'm just going to start a couple of these so that way the bezel just kind of sits in place. But it can still be moved around. And again, this is something that if I was restoring the project or something along those lines, I would have all new hardware for all this stuff. So some of these guys have kind of not rusted out, but a little bit of surface rust on things. So that's okay, it's a work truck, so it's not the end of the world. But like I said, if I was restoring this guy, it would have all brand new hardware, just all new everything. It's this top right hand corner, but I'm going to start going every other and just start tightening them down. Just start getting them to set into place. Okay, all three of those are tight. That's tight. Okay. So everything is where it's supposed to sit. And man, that looks nice. That looks so clean. You can tell the difference just between that and this. Like it's day and night already. So sweet. So now I can go up on the back side and attach my ground wires, attach my power, and plug in my light bulbs, and yeah, we should be good to go. Alright you guys, there it is, the gauge cluster or dash bezel is reinstalled. All the wires are now connected to the backside of each of these gauges, so everything should be operable like it was before I tore it apart. At least I hope so. One thing I will note is when we started disassembling the truck and we removed the dash, we removed all the rubber throughout the entire cab. We removed this rubber seal that goes between the dash bezel / gauge cluster and the dash. So this space right here that you see, the screws are tight. It just won't ever be 100% sealed, or not necessarily sealed, but there won't be 100% contact through the entire thing because there is a rubber seal or a piece of rubber material that goes between the cluster / bezel and the dash. So when I order all new weather stripping and rubber throughout the cab, I will get that as well, and we'll reinstall it, and that gap right there will close up to where all you see is a black rubber piece that goes right there. But besides that, it's crazy how well that cleaner went, that super clean degreaser, because you can really tell, I don't know if on camera, but you can tell in person just how different the two colors are. Now I know we did that, but we never let it soak, as well as the dash wasn't cleaned as well as everything on the gauge cluster and the dash bezel. So very, very happy with that product. I'm going to use it on as many things as I possibly can. More on this truck as well as the F750 crew cab, but at the end of the day, I just need to clean some of this stuff up, and I'm very happy that I was able to do that, and one step closer to getting this truck clean and ready for the summer. All right, you guys, that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. Just some house cleaning on the inside cab of the truck. Nothing too crazy, nothing too extensive, but it's just a lot of line items that I want to complete and need to complete before the summer is in full effect. We still have some things to remove off of the dash. I need to get a rubber eraser and maybe some other cleaning materials to get that whole entire dash nice and clean. I do want to look for a seat cover for the bench seat and just a bunch of other line items for the inside of the cab. But at the end of the day, very happy with how well the gauge cluster / dash bezel cleaned up. Very happy with Super Clean. Great product. Like I said, it's on Amazon, it's on at Walmart, a bunch of other places. Clean better than I anticipated, honestly, because like I said, this is 10 plus, 20 plus years of grime. So very happy with how well it cleaned up, and I can't wait to use that product on everything else inside the cab and make everything look shiny and new. So at the end of the day, we really appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe if you guys want to see more videos on the 66 Ford or my other build series on my F750 crew cab. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next video.